Hello, folks, and we are here in Pierce County, and we're in the small town of Bristol, Georgia, and we're down here at Bristol Baptist. We're going down here to where some of my kinfolks are buried, and there's some of the Keeners and Crumps related on my dad's side. I just figured I'd come down here since I'm down here, Pierce County, pay my respects to my great-grandmother, my great-grandfather, and some of my cousins here. Okay, folks, I'm looking for some of my kinfolks, and I found some of them, Crumps. And they be some distant kins in these Crumps here. It's Henry Jefferson Crump, Lily Mae Crump, and Herschel Charles Crump, who was a private in the U.S. Army World War II. My father would know all these Crumps. There's a lot of the Crumps that come out from around Blackshear. Originally moved down here from North Georgia around Calhoun and Ellijay. All of these are kin to me. My great-grandmother was a Crump. She married my great-grandfather, who was a Keener. And then my grandma was a Keener. There's some more Crumps down here, so there's a lot of Crumps that come out of this church. And I've attended this church a few times back in my younger days. I'm looking for Keeners, Mama. Okay, then yeah, but that wouldn't be Uncle Johnny. That'd probably be his brother. And here's some of the Keeners I'm related to. That's my grandfather and great-grandmother, I believe, right there. Or Uncle Clint, Alfred Clifford Keener. Okay, I had the graves mixed up, folks. This is my great-grandma and great-grandpa Keener on my dad's side. Monroe J., who was born in 1888, died in 1968. That's my great-grandfather on my daddy's side, and Mary C. Keener. And I remember great-grandma Mary Keener, but vaguely. Back when I was like 6 years old, she died. And she was born in 1889 and died in 1970. And here is my great uncle, John Dorsey Keener. George, he was private in the Army in World War II. He was born in 1921. And I remember coming to his funeral in 1974. I'd have been 9 years old when they buried him out here. And that's a Keener also, but I'm not so sure which Keener. But, folks, this is my kinfolks buried down here in Bristol, Georgia. So we're going to go on from here, and we're going to show you some other important facts about this little small ghost town. And believe me, this once was an enterprising little town. It had a railroad run through it from Almer and through here. And whereabouts it ended up, I'm not sure. But stick around, and we're going to give you some more history of this little ghost town of Bristol, Georgia. Okay, folks, we're back. And what we're doing is we just came in on this road outside off of 15. And what we're doing is we're going to head out here because somebody was highly upset at one time. And they had a sign out here, put up here, because, and I do remember back in the 80s and 90s, Bristol wasn't nothing but a speed trap. And what we're going to do is somebody picked up an old sign warning people coming in here on 15 that this was a speed trap. So we're going to go get it for you. Okay, folks, here's the old sign I was promising you about. People, this is a famous speed trap down through here in Bristol, Georgia. And I mean, the law, it's all grown over by these vines here. It says warning, speed trap ahead. See the sign right there? I mean, they took their time in building that because I was made out of metal, and somebody didn't enjoy getting robbed in this little small town. It's not as bad as it used to be because they can't even support a local law enforcement here because it's so dead. But it's not like I said, back in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. I mean, this cop used to sit on, 2 or 3 cops used to sit down here and ambush people and rob them. All right, folks, this house out there in the distance, one of the first old dilapidated houses in the community ghost town of Bristol. Okay, folks, we're back. And that's the post office, United States Post Office here in Bristol, Georgia. And do have one store left open here. But going on down here, I want to show you a brief mark. This old grocery store there that used to be open. Okay, folks, if my reckoning is correct, this power line here follows the original line of where the railroad bed used to be. All the way down through here. Roads on both sides of the road here. And I believe, don't quote me on this, if I'm mistaken, it ran all the way to Almer. From that point on down, I think it might have ran into Patterson, Georgia. And here, one of the many buildings that used to exist here in Bristol that are still here but no longer are here. There's like a square here. I don't know what this store used to be for, but one of the old stores that used to be here amongst many stores. Now, don't get me wrong, folks. There's still a few people that live here, but the old houses that used to be here that lined these streets are no longer here. It's mostly more like a retirement community area. There's another old store that used to be here open. It's no longer here, but now it's like a cabinet shop now. You can tell it was one of the many stores that used to be here. All the roads along in these small towns around through here and such, you can see how it's laid out. Used to be old dirt streets here in this old town. Not much of the old downtown area is left, or the old depot and stuff here back in the day. But right down through there, and all down through there was probably about where the railroad ran. Okay, still see where the line houses would be. See where somebody pulled a little small mobile home here, in here. I'm going out here to this other road out here. See where a lot of businesses that used to be open back like in the 70s and 80s that are no longer here. Just walk by some goldenrod, folks. That goldenrod right back there is a good wild edible herb, and I'll do another video on it later on. Folks around here don't care to ride around cars without license plates, but you see a lot of cars and vehicles down through here. I believe this used to be, back like in the 70s and 80s, used to be an old bar and such. Down here in Bristol. Been a bar or something. Old house. A couple other businesses on down through there. Used to be a couple stores, I think, down there. One time it was used as a garage. I love that old like a Monte Carlo over there. But here's where another building used to sit here. Right here. That's no longer here. And right over there where I'm parked at the post office, right out there in the clearing, about just on the other side of that gray pickup truck, used to be another building. I stood there a few years back. Been many things in there. It was a grocery store at one time, and it was like a diner back in like the 50s and 60s and 70s. Last thing I think that was in there was like a Mexican diner, Mexican restaurant and such. And folks, over down there on the other side used to be like I think it was an old church or something that was down there. But folks, that's all there is to the small town of Bristol, Georgia. Now see, of all places, and just look at the dinky thing, they put a Dollar General. And folks, those things are springing up everywhere. Now I keep calling this a ghost town. Back in the day, back in the 90s, 2000s, yeah, it was a ghost town. I don't even think this Country Boys mini mall was even opened up. It was like one of them stores that opens up, shuts down, opens up, shuts down. And out further, going on down that way, we're not heading out that way, is an old elementary school that somebody had bought and made into a house. So this was a busy little... Doing good, sir. You? This is a little town that was busy back in the day. And I can see it's trying to grow again. I hope it does well. Okay, folks, well, this is Bubba back with you. We're down here in South Georgia in Pierce County. And this is the semi-ghost town of Bristol, Georgia. And I still want to remember it as being a speed trap. You know, come down through here, speed limit 35. Folks, please do 35. Where it says 45, do 45 or less. Because I hate to see you being ambushed and robbed. Until the next time, this is old Bubba, the Jewish Redneck Prepper, saying God bless and shalom.